Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats, and we are coming to you from downtown Utica in the Impact X recording studio. Today, we welcome back to the show Javon Pratt, the visionary behind Roosters and now Westie's Pizzeria, to talk about bold flavors, big moves, and building a legacy right here in the Mohawk Valley. It's interesting because Tony Robbins once said we overestimate what we can do in a day and we underestimate what we can do in a year. I looked back. You were on originally with us March 2024. You've done a whole lot in 18 months, man. Like, so, I mean, we talk about accomplishing things, and I felt like it was like 3 years ago, but it's,
Same, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 18 months.
Wow.
So talk about the past 18 months in a nutshell.
Sheesh. Well, most importantly, I had a little baby.
That is most important.
Rooster's just been growing. I think you alluded to, I opened a pizzeria with a buddy of mine, Blake. It's just been, kind of a whirlwind, trying to figure everything out and having enough time for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started on Charlotte Street, and then you made the move to Genesee Street now. Walk us through how you got from that original location and the new location.
Like I told you guys before, I kind of was just looking to get out of doing my job and found that spot over on Charlotte. And it kind of quickly turned into something that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to learn from everybody else's mistakes, I didn't want to grow too fast. You know, so I heard a quote, I'm going to butcher it, but it was something about stay as small as you can for as long as you can. Mm-hmm. And I find I'm like real big on learning from people, whether they know it or not. You know, I'm always watching people. And a big mistake I think I see is people just growing too fast. Yeah, we were doing that on Charlotte Street for, I want to say, roughly 3 years. And then we would just have a lot of people from the Mohawk Valley Garden Group come to the restaurant. And just being the pest I am, I would just keep reaching out to a buddy of mine, Mike, over there, because I seen that Cookies was no longer serving food. Fortunately, it all worked out, and we've been there a little over a year now.
Yeah.
So
those that don't know, Cookies is still up front doing ice cream. So North Genesee Street, that still is technically right. And you're tucked right to the side. A lot of signage out in front. If you don't know, now you know. I mean, if you found it on Charlotte, you find it on North Genesee Street. Location matters, and it's interesting with the whole small, big scale thing. We talked about this last time. But what changed, right? So you went from, it was basically you and one helper, to you might be able to seat 20, 25 people. And now this is like a full-blown production over there.
Yeah, what changed? Bigger bills, more employees? No.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that changed was being more accessible. That was like a big complaint that we were having from everybody, is like the parking was bad. There's no seating. But if I'm being honest, I miss that small location. Not that I don't like serving a lot more customers, but there's something unique about a place when it's small. It's like a lot of my customers even tell me they miss just sitting 2 feet behind us while we're cooking burgers. And I miss that as well. I feel like there's a personality that we had on Charlotte Street that we're kind of missing. It's something I've been discussing with my managers. How do we, kind of revert back to being that place that people loved going, so that's a challenge. How do we scale that hospitality, and how do you scale with my employees now, remembering people's names, when you walk in, Scott, Kelly, how's it going? I feel like that's special for people, so I don't want to get away from that. And I think that is the biggest challenge that I'm kind of seeing.
But for those people that haven't been to the new location, your kitchen is still open, which is great. So whoever is preparing the food, whether it's you or somebody else, every time I walk in there, someone turns around, how are you? Good morning, like good afternoon, whatever it is. So I love the open kitchen concept. I think there's a big comfort in me being able to see my food prepared and who it's prepared by. I think it's a great location. I love the different amount of seating. I love that you can sit outside too.
Yeah.
You have the space outside where on beautiful days, if you want to bring your food outside and sit outside, I think it's a great location with, the Nexus Center being right there and the hotels and everything. So now let's talk about Westie's a little bit. I haven't been in there yet. I've seen the pictures. I mean, The artwork's fantastic. Talk to us about that location.
Yeah, well, firstly, shout out to Eric Cleveland on the art. That is a big compliment we get when everybody walks in. So if you guys don't know Eric Cleveland, he goes by Slayer. He's the man. He did all of our artwork.
We know him.
No, I know you guys know him pretty well. So yeah, Westie's is located at 1428 Sunset Avenue. For those who do know, that's kind of where I got my start in business with Pie Squared back in 2017. Wow. That's almost 10 years ago.
I remember that. I remember when we
happens.
walked in there and he's like, "You're a Plano."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, that's right."
Perks of living in
crazy,
Frankfurt.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so we kind of opened up in that original location. Since Pie Squared closed, there hasn't been anything there. What we're trying to do at Westie's is kind of something different that is not being offered here. You know, it's like, seems counterintuitive to people to open a business with limited hours, that a pizzeria that doesn't sell chicken wings, that doesn't have subs, that doesn't have salads, you know, when in fact, in bigger metropolitan areas, it's pretty
Common.
Yeah. You know, so just like with Roosters, how we focus on the burgers, we may have a chopped cheese sandwich or chicken nuggets. That's the same thing we're trying to do with Westie's. You know, we're trying to focus on the pizza. We have so many great pizzeria restaurants around here, but we have some that aren't so great as well. You know, and I find that the ones that are not so great, they try to dabble in all these things, you know, and I like to liken like any business I do to life, you know, because I have a lot of young employees and I try to impart on them any wisdom I can. You know, I'm not the most wise, you know, but I've learned some things. And in business, just like in life, I tell them, and I tell my customers this as well, I know going in business, I cannot please everyone, right? Just like in life. You know, and I found probably in the last few years, life has got so much better for me when I accepted that. You know, it's like Roosters, we sell burgers. Unfortunately, if you're vegan, this is not the place for you.
Right.
You know, there's many good places that cater to vegans, but unfortunately, we're not. I feel like if we focus on that, our constituents, if you will, you know, it's like we're pandering to them. So we know who our customer is, and we can gauge a lot easier whether we're successful or we're failing in that.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have a pizzeria and I'm selling to chicken wings and subs and sandwiches, you know, you may think my pizza's awesome, but this person's coming for the salads or whatever. So moral of the story is we're just trying to be known for the pizza. And we are limited in that number. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 12 to 8 o'clock. There's a lot of contention in that because people will ask us, well, how do you make money being open 3 days a week?
As if it's any of their business.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I appreciate all the business advice, you know, but I just want to really get this point across. The hours and what we're doing and what we're serving is based off the life that we want to live. You know, I'm not doing anything business-wise malicious to insult you or any of the customers. So I don't want people to take it personal, you know, that we're open 3 days a week and we're just selling pizza. We're just trying to create a product that is remarkable, that when you're in the mood for pizza, you know, it's like, hey, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Westie's is open. We got to get over there and try it. So
Hey, listen, I can go so deep on this. Couple things come to mind. First off, the riches are in the niches in any business, right? People that don't get it, and that's okay. When you have diluted focus, you end up with diluted results oftentimes. And there's power in scarcity. And I mean that in this capacity is that, you know, why is a Supreme t-shirt worth $150? Why do people line up for it? It's a $6 t-shirt, right? Because there's only so many of them. And so if I know, and Palatary Joe's is a great example in Utica, right? I mean, they serve food one day. They're open 2 days a week.
2 days.
I think food's just one day, right?
No, I think
well, whatever.
Tuesday
Very
and
limited.
Saturday,
but you can't get a freaking seat in there, right? Because everyone knows if you want Palatary Joe's, you got to go there while they're open.
And when
you
they
want
sell
a
us something and they wipe it off the board, it's gone.
You want a
I love
Westie's
that,
pizza,
though.
you got to go there. Well, you can. And when it's gone, right? Like you say till 8 or until you're sold out.
There'll be days where we're sold out at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because people are pre-ordering, which we recommend. And what I would like to get to eventually is just a pre-order system where we have a website where ordering opens up at 8 a.m. And once we sell out, we're sold out. And we're doing this for the love of pizza. Like, we're not doing this to get rich. And when I say we, I'm speaking of myself and my buddy Blake, who makes the pizza there, who eventually it will be his pizzeria. And I will just be an investor in it. So he's a simple guy. He has a wife and 2 children. He's not looking to be a millionaire from pizza. If he can make a respectable $60,000, $80,000 a year, he's happy with that.
Sure.
And I'm happy with that for him. So I would really love if people would just, open their eyes to that and know it's like, you don't need to be open 7 days a week and get all the money. It's like some people aren't wired that way.
And if you want to, go do it.
Yeah, for anybody,
right, exactly.
You go do it.
For anybody that doesn't know, it is a unique pizza. If you want to talk about it
that.
too, the fermented dough
absolutely.
and the sauce and it takes time to make that pizza, and there's only so many because of the quality of the product.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad that you pointed that out. Actually, yeah, we make our dough 2 days in advance. I grew up working in pizzerias. And if anybody's worked in pizzerias, they've worked in a place, they got busy, ran out of dough. Hey, we need to make a dough.
Yeah.
And then they make the dough for the same day. I'm not going to get into all the science of it or whatever, but in a nutshell, dough is like, it's science, It's like you want it to ferment because it breaks down the proteins and it's more easy to digest. It's just like beer. But we make our dough 2 days in advance. We have limited cooler space. So with that, naturally, I can only serve a certain number. And then our sauce is super simple. We use Alta Cucina tomatoes. We mill them by hand. We use a whole milk mozzarella. But even the product we have is not a finished product. It was kind of, I've had the lease for this place, a lot of people don't know, since February. It kind of got to, I was supposed to have a partner in it. He kind of backed out. That's a story for another day. But it kind of got to the point where it was like, all right, this place is taking money. We got to get it open. So we kind of even opened unprepared, so we intended to do chicken wings even. But the more I thought of it, kind of like how I said before, I'm opening this business to work around the life that I want and that I want to have with my family.
Yeah.
So I said, I just want to do pizza.
Yeah.
And it's been great so far.
And just not to get too into the weeds here, but chicken wings, correct me if I'm wrong, are a loss leader, right? You don't make money on chicken wings. They're so expensive wholesale.
Yeah, I also wanted to point that out. We're in business to make money, right? I want everybody to understand pizzerias are not making money on your chicken wings.
yeah.
It's kind of like a favor to you that they're offering chicken wings.
Yeah.
Because ask any pizza guy, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
All the grease and all that.
Yeah.
To not make money. So again, trying to learn from other people.
Yeah.
Selfishly, not so selfishly, I'm in the business to make money.
Yeah.
And chicken wings just don't make money.
I love since the day we met and I first was introduced to Roosters and the 4 things on the menu, I love the simplicity of the model. And I'm glad you're sticking with it because currently, new location, bigger staff, bigger facility, the menu is how much bigger than it was 2 years ago?
Well, I would say it's still the same, but we have secret menu items, if you will. It's like you can get any of the burgers over fries. You can get any of the burgers over lettuce. And we originally put that on the menu, but people would get confused. They'd hear it come out a Rooster fry. They'd say, no, I want a burger with fries.
Yeah.
So we kind of took it off. And if you're one of our regulars and then you know. But other than that, no, we haven't added anything.
But every once in a while, they'll do a limited time.
Yeah.
Get it while you can.
I did this. I had the cheesesteak. It was fantastic. You did that a couple of months ago, right?
Well, it wasn't a cheesesteak, but it was more of like a Philly chopped cheese.
Philly chopped cheese. That's what it was. That was fantastic. I also had the taco that you did. That was amazing. So good.
What was the jalapeno one?
That was really good too.
Scott, there's so many of them. I really don't even remember.
And what we run into is like, yes, there's a choice of 3 different burgers, correct?
Yeah.
And I walk in and I have a hard time choosing just one because the figgy is so good and the classic and then the Rooster sauce. We always have a jar in our fridge.
We had it last night.
We did.
She made chicken and we had the Rooster sauce.
I know, for sure.
Yeah, if I could do it all over again, I'd go even simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I feel like if you do a product well enough, people can get behind it. Like I was just in Montana with my family, and we went to this place. I can't remember the name, but they sold one burger, and you can only get it in a single. And it was just the greatest thing. Like she said, I have 3 different burgers, and people still come in there like, huh.
And you're like, oh, I should have got this.
I think they're because they're all good.
They're all so good. That's what I meant. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd make it even simpler if I could, to be honest.
I love it. I love the model. I love that you're staying true to it. Let's talk about this trip to New York City, because that's super cool. You start talking about some big time names that you were mingling with. So set the picture as to what the event was, how you got involved in it, and what the experience was.
I'd say roughly almost a year ago, George Moats reached out to us on Instagram. For those who don't know, George Moats, people dub him as like the burger scholar, right? So it's like he just geeked out and dived so deep about burgers, and he'd travel around the country, kind of just seeing what the regional burger was. And he kind of introduced America to the Oklahoma City onion burger, that being like his favorite. So fast forward, he messaged us. He had a wedding that he was catering up in Hinckley, and somebody kind of bailed on him. And he's like, hey, would you guys be able to spare an employee? I'm like, yeah, I got you. I think I got a guy.
I know a guy.
And so I went up there, helped him with this wedding, and super cool, down-to-earth guy, So just about, I want to say 3 weeks ago, he reached back out to me. And he's like, hey, man, we got this burger bash that's being sponsored by Blue Moon. It's put on by the New York City Food and Wine Festival and the Food Network. He's like, somebody backed out. Would you be interested? And I'm like, I was kind of like thinking, I'm a little short-staffed right now. I probably can't do this. But then I talked to my wife, and she's like, you got to do it.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, you do got to do it.
Thank God we're married.
Yeah, exactly.
We can be so smart sometimes,
that's
right?
a whole nother episode. Are you kidding? Without my wife, man, I'd be lost.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Literally 2 weeks notice. Mind you, I'm short-staffed, so I have to find these employees. I took my buddy Blake from Westie's, who's never worked at Roosters in that capacity. I took one of my managers, Irv, and then one of my supervisors, Nate, down. Fortunately, we were provided meat by Pat LaFrida. He sponsored the event. He's like a real big butcher there. It was hosted by Rachel Ray. I mean, Ja Rule was one of the, one of the guest judges. Whole gang of names, We just went down there and represented Utica. It was surreal, because here we are in this city of 60,000 people, and they're asking us in a 2 weeks notice, hey, you got to come down here and serve 800 people. I was kind of telling you guys earlier, we are surrounded by a lot of burger places that already had a huge following,
Sure. Household names, Bobby Flay.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Bobby Flay shouting people out. We had this one next to us. They had a location in Miami and New York City. Tons of social influencers are there. Mm-hmm. So we're feeling like the ugly kids in class. You know what I mean?
You were.
Yeah.
You were in the middle. You were in the middle.
Everybody's, surrounded over there. And we're just like, hey, we're over here. But no, super cool. We didn't win, but people showed us tons of love there. Lots of people saying we were their favorite burger. We felt like we won. Not the competition, but we just felt like winners. Yeah. Just the support that we were shown from people, just them thanking us that we drove 4.5 hours to come up there and serve burgers. Met up with George after. He was real happy with the product that we put out. And yeah, I would love to do it again. And I think if we did it again, I would just go a little crazier. I didn't know what to expect before.
Yeah, listen, those, in my world, they're trade shows, right? So for all intents and purposes, it's like a food trade show.
Exactly.
And the booths, and we've done a couple of these with the show, like Realtor Day, and certain people, Josh Amodio, shout out, right? Like just have huge followings at their booth because they light it up. They're big personalities. They have, different, things that props and
different things that they bring
music
with them,
and loudness, and opportunities to take pictures. And so when you show up last minute, you don't know this, you're looking around and you're like, oh shit, like we're not ready.
It was like I showed up to football tryouts with like sandals. You know what I mean? But
that's a great analogy.
No, seriously. But like I said, me and my guys just had a good time, man. And I just want to say like how grateful we were to George for, reaching out to us. not only that, it's like how grateful I am to my guys who spent their whole day. It's like 2 of the guys have a family. So the fact that, they were saying, hey,
yeah,
I'm willing to come down for, the day with you. That's awesome.
You mentioned the word before we went on air, confidence, more than once when we were doing a little pre-talk, and how it just gave you confidence and just reassuring, that you guys are doing the right thing. And then when you talk about the team and the culture you've built, they're doing that because they're bought in to the mission. They're passionate about the product. They believe in what you guys are doing, which is awesome, right?
Yeah,
just know that you have a good thing. And I think part of that, and you can, what I love about you is you that passion and excitement about your product and your business just comes through every time we talk. And so, unapologetically, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, I think a big thing with Rooster success in general is just, this is genuinely me. It's like I'm off the wall. I'm not the most organized, but it's like I'm not afraid to get in there. And that's the thing I just want to touch on also. It's like tons of people give me kudos. Oh, man, you should be proud and all this. But it's like I want people to understand it's like I'm not the smartest guy. It's like I'm not even the hardest working guy. I'm just confident in myself, and I'm not afraid to bet on myself, So for anybody out there who is interested, in getting into anything, even, you being in business for yourself, you're a pretty smart guy, but I'd bet you would agree you're not the smartest, It's like,
listen, if we were the smartest, we wouldn't do what we do.
Right. No,
if we're being honest.
That's a great
right?
point.
To be a small business owner, you need to be smart, but not too smart.
Right.
Because when you start getting overly analytical and looking at it, you're like, why would I want to do that? Like 80 hours a week, the stress, the employees, the dealing with the public, it's not easy.
But the other thing that we do need to touch on is when you're a small business owner, the staff that you have that works under you. And how important it is you find good people. I'm sure that, like, let's talk about, are there
that
special
gave me chills? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are there special practices or things that you look for in employees because of that culture and that community that you have created in your restaurant? Like, it's just, you can feel it when you walk in there.
I'm glad you said that. It almost gets me emotional to think about, I am so grateful for the people I have. We have a huge turnover there as well, like any other restaurant. But man, I'm grateful for my core group of people. They allow me to, we've been in business for a while, you know what I mean? So we have some systems and stuff, but Roosters is not even close to where it can be. I'm so thankful for, my morning manager, Irv, my evening, and I like to say my customer service manager, Ben. If anybody's been in there and you've met Ben, you get what I'm saying. He's not only my manager, he's my brother-in-law. And fortunately for me, it's like he got to work with me in the trenches over there on Charlotte Street. So he really got to understand my mission and my vision and what I was trying to do. So those 2 guys alone, it's like I trust the business in their hand 100%. It's like if a decision needs to be made and I'm not there, I trust them to make it. Not only them, it's like I could go on with all my employees, the care and love that they pour into my business. I like to say, if you have children, the best compliment you're paid is when somebody's like, oh, you did such a good job with them.
Yeah.
They are so respectful in this. The best compliment I get is when I see somebody in public, man, I was at your place. It was the best. They treated me like, it was my place. They rolled out the red carpet, and that just makes me feel so good. So I can't stress enough. People get caught up, restaurant owners, the customer. But without your employees, there is no customer.
The parental analogy example is the best, worst one that I have as well, because that's how I feel about it with my team. Like, just beaming with pride when, you just know that people are getting taken care of, whether I'm not there right now. And zero part of me is stressed about it because they're doing what they need to do, right? Because they care about it just as much, sometimes more than me. And when they make a mistake that could have been prevented, it's like, man, I'm not mad. I don't get mad. I'm just disappointed because I know you can do better, you know. And it's the same way with our kids. Like, it's like we're not mad. We're just disappointed because we know you can do better. So it is like a parental relationship. But listen, you take care of your team, and then the team takes care of the customers, and it's pretty simple. And then the big thing, and you hit on it from a leadership standpoint, is you empower people, right? You trust people. There's no greater compliment than saying, Javon, this is your shift. I trust you. Whatever decisions need to be made, you make them, right? I stand behind you. I believe in you.
Yep.
And that gives you, the employee, pride of ownership on some level. So, you obviously get that, and that's why you get chills with the team, because you're proud.
Yeah,
there's nothing, there's not a customer in the world that you'll ever look at and be as happy or thrilled or proud of as you will your best employees.
Yeah,
It's just a different dynamic. So, man, I knew time would fly.
I know,
but
right?
let's go back. Well, let's talk a little more business, right? So pre-Roosters, Javon, what advice would you give yourself? what would you want to know or hear before you started Roosters?
Well, I would say to myself and to anybody who's looking to open a restaurant, keep it simple. Focus on a thing, because if you focus on that thing, you're going to have more attention to put into that thing. Analogy I use is you can't serve two masters. It's like, it's biblical. Not to mention, it's like you can't have multiple wives. So it's like, this one thing I'm going to put all my love and attention into. And I believe if you can do that, right, it's like people are going to notice. Like, food's subjective, right? It's like what I like, you may not like. But it's like one thing I don't want anybody to ever say is like, these people don't care.
Yeah.
They don't, it's not a money grab for them. They're actually putting attention into it. So I would say to myself before I open Roosters, keep it simple, stay true to yourself. Remember why you're going into business. For you, for your family. You're there to take care of the customer, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be a slave to this business.
Yep. I think you did tell yourself that pre-Roosters, in all fairness.
Yeah, but
but a lot of people don't follow through with it. A lot of people, they get that taste of success, and if I stayed open another day, I could be making so much more money. But then you don't get the day with your family, and you are a family man.
Absolutely.
And you told us before
Growing family.
You're expecting another, which is
Lord willing, in April we'll have another baby.
That is amazing. Congratulations to you and your wife.
Don't
all
blink.
Right. Yeah.
Don't
I
blink.
know.
We just had our third baby like a week ago. Now they're all grown.
I've got two that are gone, and it's sad, but whatever. So goals, next 2 to 5 years. I mean, you're killing it right now, but in 2 to 5 years, whether it's community, personally, what would you like
Can
to
I
see
make a
happen?
bet before he answers?
Sure.
It's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
There might be different versions of it, but I feel like you're going to stay true to everything you just said from the last question.
Man, I don't know.
Not to sway the answer, but go ahead.
No, I would say in the next 2 to 5 years. It's kind of hard for me because I get all over the place, so I'm trying to focus more. But I would say getting Roosters to kind of be a place that is a pillar of the community, is a place that people want to work, is a place that we're involved in the community more. I find that's kind of a thing I'm struggling with right now that I want to do more of, is that I'm not in the community as much as I would like. Myself personally, I would like to do a little more consulting, for other businesses. I would like to do a little more speaking to kind of the younger generation, because I have some stuff that I think would be valuable for people to hear. But I guess it would just to have more time with my family, Hopefully my family grows a little. My wife's probably going to be, thinking like, let's get through this one first. But I think in the next 2 to 5 years, I would just be happy if we can create a place that people want to work at. The product still stays the same, if not gets better. And I can just positively impact more people's lives.
So many things you said. Like, number one, we are known for regional foods like Utica greens and chicken riggies. And I really do think when anybody says a burger in Utica, the first place I think of is Roosters.
That's the goal,
so
yeah.
I do think that you're on your way to definitely being the signature burger of Utica. The other thing that you brought up is like the career after classroom stuff. And it is so important that we get good people in schools to talk to kids that may not be looking to go to college, but they have a vision and they work hard and they want to be an entrepreneur. So I think that's an awesome thing. And I think that every kid would love to have you come in and speak rather than
why are you looking at me?
Somebody else. Not you.
What was that?
No, I didn't mean you. I just meant
those on
sometimes
audio.
as a teacher,
You missed it.
we hire.
Got cold in here.
I did not mean that. Let me explain. We hire these companies to come in, and the message just always seems to be the same.
Yes.
And it's not about hardworking. You don't need to go to college. If you have a vision, it's not about that. So I did not mean you. That's hurtful.
I don't
You
think
thought I
she
meant
meant
that.
Javon noticed it too.
Oh my God, nobody noticed it. Shut
Spina
up.
actually is probably going to edit it.
Shut up.
Yeah, he doesn't want to impact our marriage in a negative way.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. And I just want to say this quote. It's like my favorite quote. And I think it's super important. College is not, the end all be all, but it was by like Inky Johnson. He said, perspective drives performance. So how you view what you do affects how you do what you do. It's like, that's so deep to me on multiple levels, and that's like a thing, whether you want to be a car mechanic, you want to do burgers, I joke to people, it's like, I'm doing what my teachers told me I'd be doing, flipping burgers, but it's like my perspective on it changed. Yeah. It's like, how can I impact the most people? How can I put out the best product that I can? And I feel like that is the problem I'm seeing with like adults and even younger kids. It's like their perspective's all off, so just to piggyback kind of on what we were saying with employees, is like, that's what I look for an employee. I look for somebody with a good perspective, not looking like, oh, I'm rolling these meatballs. This is so sucky. Yeah. But it's like, I'm contributing to the bigger picture. Yeah. So I would say to any kid out there that wants to, do anything, it's like, change your perspective with that thing.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. And you just reminded me I need to listen to Inky Johnson more. He's the best, and
he's awesome.
Gotten away from him. I say it all the time, and people think I'm joking, but I'm not. Like, the greatest job I ever had was working at Sully's Pizzeria in high school and through college. Like,
I was waiting tables at the night spot, and it was my most favorite thing. The
friendships, the bonding, the dealing with customers and the community, and you're making people happy. It's pizza.
But in that moment, I don't know if you were really grateful on what was happening.
Yeah, well,
right.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, perspective changes everything.
That's like a thing I struggle with even now.
Another thing too, and I can't remember who said it, but some billionaire on a podcast, but his point was impactful. He said, what's the average business school cost? 60, 70 grand, and you got to go for 5 years. So you're talking $300,000 to $400,000 for an MBA to then go out and fight for what type of job. He's like, I'd rather see a kid invest $300,000 and spending 5 years and going out and doing the business and trying different things and making mistakes and failing. And then when you get done, you've got a better 5-year business degree than anybody for $300,000.
Without a doubt.
So along with what you're saying, but yeah, man, we're at time.
Yeah, we got to wrap it.
Which makes me sad, but let's do it. We got some rapid fire questions.
We got a lot of them. They should be, try to go quick. Burger or pizza? What's your personal go-to? That's tough. I have a tough time with that
picking
too.
A kid.
Well, I'll have to pick a burger because.
Yeah.
Favorite midnight snack of yours that is not featured on a menu?
Lately, it's been ice cream.
Your
Your
wife liked the ice cream? That was my go-to when I was pregnant. I just had to have
Speaking of leadership, Steve Jobs said, if you want to make friends or if you want to be popular, don't be a leader, sell ice cream.
Yeah.
Noted.
Music in the kitchen. What's playing while you cook?
Oh, while I cook, it's country music.
All right.
Just because it reminds me of my mom and it just brings me back to my childhood.
That's awesome.
But at Roosters, it's reggae.
Okay.
Yeah.
One food trend you secretly love?
Anything Asian, really. I've been really into pho lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Most used emoji in your text messages. That's a good one.
Heart.
Oh, nice.
Oh, geez, I feel like we should just stop there. But we're not going to. What's your go total opposite of the heart now? What's your biggest culinary pet peeve in the kitchen?
Just being unsanitary.
Yeah.
Not wearing gloves, dropping something, trying to use it without anybody looking. Like, no, we don't do that.
If you weren't in food, what would you be doing?
The original goal was to be a school guidance counselor.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd be in some capacity speaking to people and touching their hearts.
Big market for that. We'll get you there. You got a full day off. I know it's going to feel weird. No calls, no kitchen. What are you doing?
Grabbing the girls, my wife and my 2 girls. We're driving up to the Adirondacks.
Nice.
We're either going camping if we got the next day off, or we're just bringing them to the park, having some coffee, going for a walk.
What's the weirdest or most unique pizza topping you've ever tried or want to try?
Well, people hate pineapple. I wouldn't say that's the weirdest. I enjoy it on pizza. But the weirdest topping, so that's another reason I keep it simple. I'm not too adventurous when it comes to things like that. I'm a pepperoni pizza guy.
Yeah.
So
purist.
So yeah, I'd say, I guess anchovies.
Yeah,
we do
EBA.
Do you like anchovies?
I've never tried it.
I like anchovies if you cook them in something else. Like they're super salty,
Yeah.
and they add really good base to like a sauce. I don't think I've ever eaten like a fish, but I've definitely used the paste and like reduced it down and used it to cook. But I don't think I could eat the fish itself.
Javon Pratt, Westies, Roosters, but so much more to come. We've never had a guest on 3 times.
I have a feeling he'll be back.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be an
18 months
event.
from now, we're going to be like, oh my
I'll
God.
have some things I want to say.
It's always so much fun.
Hey,
Thank
man.
you.
Anytime.
Yeah, I
Appreciate it,
appreciate
man.
you guys a lot. Thank you.